And welcome, welcome, welcome to each of you today. Thank you for showing up on your mat today. And today is our month in review, November 2022. This month, our theme has centered around closer awareness of the self that lies within. And throughout this month, we have explored into 3 paths. 1, the meditative path. 2, a prayerful path. And 3, the yoga practice itself. So today we will review these 3 paths. And my invitation for each of you today is to allow my cues to guide you in this month's review. Namaste. Thank you. We arrive on our mat and gift ourselves with a few moments in centering stillness. We begin our centering stillness by moving away from the thinking and the doing and arrive into being. Invite your spine to awaken and notice your heart center lifting. Breath expanding. Body centering and stilling. Come home here and open into your practice today. Closer awareness of the self that lies within. Namaste. We're going to begin with some gentle warming practices as we review a meditative state. In our easy seated poses, the arms begin to reach away from the body. First movement, breathe in, reach out. Let those arms circle all the way up, high, high, high above you. Palms softly touch, fingers, thumbs touch. And then you draw your thumbs to your heart center. Lift the heart again. The receiving breath, we're going to reach up through the fingertips. Palms staying together or close, best they can. And then interlace the fingers, bend the elbows, turn the palms upwards, lift, reach up through the palms of your hands. Let's release a deep breath. Elbows reach out, back of the hands place at the head, and then lean back lightly, receive a nice deep breath, come back through center, start bowing forward. Hips hinge us, elbows draw towards each other. The rising back up with the elbows reaching outwards. Slide the fingers apart, open those arms again, and circle them behind you. Interlace the fingers or just touch an opposite forearm and then Let those shoulder blades draw down in the back body. Feel the collarbones broadening out and lift open through the front body. The releasing breath. Soften the hands and arms down. We'll flow through that cycle one more time. Breathe as the arms reach out and rise up. Palms, fingers, thumbs touch. Thumbs travel to your heart center. Receiving breath. Lift up through the fingers. Reach up through the arms. Interlace the fingers. Spin the palms upwards and reach through the palms of your hands. The releasing breath. Body in center. Elbows bending. Palms to the back of the head, releasing breath. Hips hinge, bow forward, elbows draw towards each other. We rise back up to open through the elbows. We slide the fingers apart, reopen the arms, and then circle the arms behind you. Open the front body. Whatever is working best for your body today. Lift open through the front body and then release the hands and arms down by your sides, palms back to the thighs or the knees, and just a little stirring of the spine here. Create a little circle. So now we're going to move with the back, front body, shoulders, hip area, just warming into our practice. Closer awareness of the self that lies within. When you come back to center, please pause and then turn your circles around. One of these paths is practiced through a meditative state. Breathe into each experience, particularly when it becomes challenging. And we'll do one more of these, stirring of the spine all the way around. Come back into the center, pause. And next breath, begin to transition into your tabletop. Knees below hips, wrists below shoulders. You can fold the fingers in and rest onto the knuckles. You can plant the palms down strongly with fingers separating widely. And just flow through a couple of your favorite spinal waves today. Again, still warming our body. Spinal waves is a wonderful practice to flow with the spine, connect with the core, and notice the breath body. Please complete your last cycle, spinal waves. Come back to the neutral position and then transition into your favorite child's pose today. Knees hip width apart or wide to the outside edges of your mat. Remember, there's many choices in each practice of yoga, each pose, each asana. Create the one that's right for you today, right here, right now. And then feel the breath body deeper into the back. Soften and honor here. And does that practice bring you closer to the self that lies within? Next breath, we're going to transition back into our tabletop. Create the tabletop. And we're going to flow through the child's pose spinal wave sequence. From tabletop, we begin with releasing breath. As the tailbone tucks, the back body rounds upwards, the head bows down. Receive the breath and start to reach the hips back towards the heels, child's pose, but we're just flowing through it. So then you rise back up into the tabletop And you lift the tailbone, you lift the navel, you lift the crown of the head, releasing breath. Tailbone tucking, head bowing. Reach back through the hips, flow through child's pose. Return back to the tabletop and lift the tailbone, lift the crown of your head. Flow a few more of these cycles on your own here. We're reviewing this closer awareness of the self within today. A meditative state is one of those paths. Can you breathe into the movements? This creates a presence, which is the meditative path. And we'll flow through one more complete sequence here. Move with your body. Breathe into the movements. And when the cycle is completed, return to tabletop. And then please tuck the toes under. Start to reach the hips back towards the heels. We're going to do a little soul stretching here. So the hips reach back, the hands walk towards the knees. And if you need cushion under the knees, do that. If you need to soften the soles of the feet and bring the tops of the feet back down, see if you can tuck the toes again. But we're going to sit here for 3 deep breaths to notice how we can breathe into a challenging experience. And can we relax without regret or feeling guilty? Is that 3rd deep breath all completed for you? Transition back to your tabletop. Bring the tops of the feet down to the mat. Let them stretch out through the toes. And we begin to warm into energizing as we transition into our downward facing dog. Let the heels stay lifted. And then walk your dog today. 1 heel up, 1 heel down. Start to let the hips engage as the legs begin to move. And stay present with the breath body. Relax into challenging experiences. These practices of a meditative state to get closer to the self that lies within. Everybody, deepen into the breath. Reach up both heels together. Rise up. Can you come up to the tippy toes? Can you feel the same stretch through the soles of your feet that you did as you were sitting? And then softly and slowly draw the heels down together. Journey into it. There's no goal. It's a journey. Breath, presence. Relax into the essence of this practice here, now. And the very next breath, together, we're going to rise the heels up, soften the knees, gaze to the top of your mat, and take your walking meditation. Or maybe today you want to do 2 giant steps or even do a little hop. But we're all moving towards the top edge of our mat together. When the toes are there at the top edge, hip width apart, go right into a half lift. Fingertips just in front of the toes or palms on the shins to lengthen our spine. Release the breath and start to go into your forward fold. You can soften the knees. Whatever's working best for you. Receive a breath. Come back into the half lift. Engage the core, Mula Bandha. And then we're going to go into a chest expansion from half lift. So with breath, arms open out to the wingspan. Circle the arms behind you. Touch the opposite forearm with the hand. Maybe ragdoll arms, just let them rest on the back body. Or the palms touch, fingers interlace. As you breathe, Feel the collarbones expand. So you drop those shoulder blades down into the back body again. And then notice if you can start to bow, if you can allow the hips to hinge you a little bit and let the chest travel a little closer towards the thighs. Breathe into each challenging experience, a meditative state. Receive a breath. You can do this. And as we release the breath, the knees soften, the arms release from wherever they were. Circle the arms down, reach the arms forward. We're rising to the upward salute. Reach up through the fingertips, stretch out the legs. Reach all the way up, as high through those fingertips as you can. And then notice, can you also lift the toes? The next releasing breath. Palms, fingers, thumbs touch again. Interlace the fingers. Bend the elbows out. Place the palms at the back of the head. Receive a breath. Gaze up. Firm the glutes. Release the breath. And lightly lean back. Keep the elbows opened out. Breathe into each challenging experience. Stay present. Come back into the center. Separate the fingers. Open the arms out. Circle them all the way up once again. And then we're going to do a nice little standing side stretches. So palms, fingers, thumbs touch again. Spin those palms upwards. Lift through the palms of the hands. Feel the reach through the palms of the hands and lengthening through the sides of your bodies. And here we go. Releasing breath. Reach over to your right side. Maybe the right side of your face sort of rests on the upper arm. Maybe you turn your gaze to the opposite direction. So turn to the left. Receive a breath. Let's go back to the center. Release the breath. Start to reach over towards your left side. Keep reaching through the palms, please. Gaze maybe the opposite direction. Notice how just a gaze changes how you practice or where you go with the movements of your mind. Rise all the way back up to the center. Flow through one more cycle, please. Deep releasing breath. Reach over to the right. Challenge yourself and stay present. Breathe into the challenging experiences. Rise and release. And then we're softly come all the way back up into our center together. From this upward salute with the palms still lifting up. Turn the palms down, separate the fingers, return to the full upward salute, fingers reaching, spread those fingers. And then we're going into the fierce pose. Release a breath, soften the knees, drop the hips. Keep shifting internally to create your alignment. Mula Bandha engages, tailbone lightly tucks. Releasing up the breath. We're going to reach the arms forward, hips hinge us slightly, and then go to airplane arms. So the arms lift up behind you, palms face the sides of your body. Separate those fingers, stretch them out wide. And then we're going to go into the warrior 3 from here. Releasing breath, the arms release down by your sides, knees stay bent for a moment. Lift the arms up, now stretch the legs out. Muscular energize that left leg. Mula Bandha. Gaze, find your drishti, and then start to reach that right leg out behind you. 2 breaths. And then very softly, you bring that right leg down. You bend the knees. Return to the fierce pose. Arms lift up, or the arms can reach forward. Releasing of that breath. Here we go back to that warrior 3 once again. The arms reach forward. The legs stretch out. Now muscular energize that left leg again, please. And then reach that right leg out behind you. Toes point down. Heel reaches away. Drishti, stay present, a meditative state. Releasing breath, the right leg comes down, the knees bend softly. We're going to rise back up, upward salute. Rise up, lift yourself upwards, gaze upwards, reach through those fingertips again. Here we go. That's sequence for the opposite side. The releasing breath. Knees soften. Go into the fierce pose. Here we go. Arms open out wide through the wingspan and then return to airplane arms. Arms lift up behind us. Palms face each other. Reach out. Draw those shoulder blades down. Tuck the tailbone down. Receiving breath. Prepare for warrior 3. The arms release down. They reach forward. The legs start to stretch out. Muscular energize the right leg. Start to pick up the left foot. Reach that left foot back. Toes down. Heel reaches away. You can always place the toes back down and lift them up again. Releasing breath. Bring that left leg forward. Soften the knees. Return to the fierce pose. Release a deep breath. Reach the arms forward. Hips hinge us. Now the legs start to stretch out. Muscular energize that right leg. Stay present. Breathe. Relax into the pose without regret or feeling guilty. Release that left leg down one more time and rise back up through the fingertips. Fierce pose. As we release this next breath together, arms cascade all the way through the wingspan. Let your body bow gently forward. Fingertips touch your mat. Forward fold. From our forward fold, we're going to step back into downward facing dog. Here we go. Downward facing dog. Remember your sankalpa, your intention, your theme for today is this review of the close awareness of the self within. So now we're going to move into a prayerful state as a path to understand or notice this self that lies within. From downward dog, we begin to energize now. The left leg reaches out to split dog. We bend the left knee. Start to draw the left knee towards the inner left elbow or the nose, yogi's choice, and then reach it back out. Releasing of a breath. Hug this in. Hug, 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 hug. And receive a breath. Reach it back out. Last time. Hug in. Prayerful state. Thank your body for the movements it can do today. And from split dog, we're stepping that left leg forward. Or maybe you go to tabletop. We're moving into warrior 2. Spin that right heel down. Reach the right arm forward. Lift the right arm up. And now turn your body to the long edge of the mat. Got that? Then we rise up. Body lifts up. Arms open out. We gaze out over those left fingertips. We receive a breath. Go peaceful warrior. Left arm lifts up, right arm reaches down. Reach through the left fingers. Let your body open through the left side. And we come back through warrior 2. Side angle. Start to reach through the left fingers. The left side of your body starts to come to the top of your left thigh. You can bend the left elbow, just breeze the forearm there. You can bring that left arm down inside or outside the left leg. Right hand can always just go to the hip. Right arm can reach out wingspan, lift all the way up, or reach over towards the right ear. Another breath, your side angle. Remember, the prayerful state is to remember and thank your body for the movements it can do today. From our side angle, we're going to flow back through the warrior two. Reach out through both arms again. Lift your body up strong. Gaze over the left fingertips. Sink down through the hips. Get into warrior two fully. Staying present is a meditative state. Thanking our body for the movements it can do is a prayerful state. And we're going to transition to warrior one. So that right arm is going to circle down. We pick up the right heel. Reach both arms forward together. Pause there. Then plant that right foot down, 45 degrees to the front foot. Now we rise up through the fingertips. We sink down through the hips once again. We're going to flow with a little sequence from here. We receive a breath. And we just stretch out that left leg. We release a breath. We return to the warrior one. Two more. Deepen into the breath body. Release and return. Warrior one. Deepen breath. Stretch out, lift up, and return. Everybody into our warrior one. We're so practiced at warrior three. Let's go through that review again. We pick up the right heel. Spin on the ball of the right foot. Reach the arms forward. Take a little step in with the right leg and then reach out through the right heel. Find your drishti. Stretch out through that right leg and release the breath. We're going to standing split. So softly bend the left knee. Slowly bring the arms down to the floor or mat. Gaze down at the back toes and then start to stretch out the left leg. Start to lift up the right leg. Bow into it like a forward fold, best you can. Releasing breath. We're going into Shiva squat. Bend both knees. Hug that back right knee behind the left knee. Hug it in, hug it in, hug it in. And then reach back out. This time just lift that right leg to hip level. Releasing breath. Here we go. Hug in. Bend both knees. Hug the right leg behind the left leg. Receiving breath. Stretch the left leg out. Stretch the right leg out. Hip level only. And then very gently bend the left knee. Step that right leg back. And walk back to make downward facing dog. Find your breath. Prayerful state. Thank your body for the movements it was available to do there for that sequence. And also recognize your positive intentions. Downward dog. Let's move into that sequence for the opposite side. Begins always with breath. Receive the breath. The right leg is going to reach out, split dog. The right knee is going to bend. We start drawing the right knee to the inner right elbow or the nose, yogi's choice, and then reach it out. Release a deep breath. Hug it back in. Receive and reach. Release to hug it all the way back in, thanking your body. And return to split dog. And we're going to step the right leg forward. You might go to tabletop. You might step it forward from there. We're going to go right into that warrior two. So the left heel spins down 90 degrees to the front foot. We start to reach out the left arm. We feel the reach. We begin to rise up through the left arm. Keep that right knee bent. Keep the leg strong. Lift the body up. Open the arms out. Gaze out over those right fingertips. Release a breath. Release the hips. let your hips sink you down. Notice if you're balanced from front to back. It's very easy to reach forward in Warrior Two. We're always reaching forward in life. We want what's out there. Yoga's about union, balance. Get your body centered, strong, and then thank your body for what it can do here. And then notice your positive intentions. Warrior Two is a strong practice, and we turn it all to peace. Breath. The right palm lifts up, the right arm lifts up. The left arm softly reaches back. Breathe into the movements. Thank your body and notice your positive intentions here. A prayerful state. From Warrior Two, we flow back from peaceful to Warrior Two. And then we transition right into side angle. Reach through the right fingers lightly. Bend the right elbow. It might breeze the forearm on your thigh. It might come down to the inside of your right leg. It might come to the outside of your right leg. You might have a block. Bring the floor a little closer to the fingers. And then transition. Left hand to hip, left arm reaching up, or the left arm reaching over towards the left ear. Find the pose that's right for you here. Breathe into it. Thank your body. And then we'll rise back up together. So we keep that knee bent strongly. We start to reach both arms out together. We flow through the Warrior Two, transition to Warrior One. Release the left arm down. Pick up the left heel. You know what to do. Bring yourself into full body alignment with presence. And then rise the arms up together. One more releasing breath. See if you can sink down just a little bit deeper. And then with breath, receiving, stretch out that right leg. Releasing breath. Return to Warrior One. Bend that right knee. Receive, stretch out. Noticing your positive intentions. Thanking your body for the movements available today. And when your third cycle is completed, you are in the full Warrior One. We transition to Warrior Three. The arms reach forward. We pick up the left heel. Spin on the ball of the left foot. Find your drishti. Take a little step in with the left leg as you reach out again. Through your fingertips, muscular energize your right leg and start to lift the left leg up. Releasing of the breath. Bend the right knee. We're going to standing split. Softly bring the fingertips down to the mat or the floor, but have them out way in front of your right foot. So you create a tripod with your fingertips. And then you gaze down at the back toes. You receive a breath. Stretch out the right leg. Lift up the left leg. Elbows can bend out. Elbows can stay straight. Release a breath. Here we go. Shiva squat. Bend the right knee. Bend the left knee. Hug that left thigh deep behind the right thigh. Bow in. Receiving breath. Reach back out. Just lift that left leg to hip level. No higher. Releasing breath. Hug back in. Another practice in our prayerful state is to let go of negative intentions. Complete your last cycle here. Hug it in, hug it in, hug it in. Reach it back out. And softly bring that left leg forward. Bend both knees gently. Walk the hands back towards the toes. Open those arms out. And then rise up. We're going to go into reverse ragdoll arms. So when the arms are at full wingspan, bend the elbows, interlace the fingers, Place the palms to the back of the head. Release a breath. Firm the glutes. Reach back lightly. Salute back lightly and gaze upwards. Elbows reach outwards. Return back to center. Return the body back to center. Softly open out through. Circle the arms forward. Ragdoll arms once again. Opposite hands on the elbows. Reach out through the elbows. Let the head be framed inside your ragdoll arms. Bending of both knees. A ragdoll forward fold. Bend the knees. Sink down. And when your hips have hinged you completely, the knees are bending with your alignment today, then release the elbows. Release the head. Let your upper body just swing or sway and flow from side to side. Yeah. Come back into your center, please. Plant the palms down. We're going to go through the first part of that standing sequence in a flowing fashion with the meditative and prayerful state as our full intention. Forward fold. Step back to downward facing dog. Receiving breath. The left leg lifts up. Bend the left knee. You're going to step it forward. You're going to arrive in warrior two. Right heel spins down. Right arm reaches forward. Circle that right arm up. Body turns. Open up into your warrior two. Reach outwards. Reverse the warrior or prayerful warrior. Left palm and arm lift up. Right arm reaches back. Return to warrior two. Transition to side angle. A meditative and prayerful state. Closer awareness of the self that lies within. From your side angle, we return back through the warrior two. Transition to warrior one. Right arm circles down, right heel picks up. Reach out through the fingers. Plant the right foot down 45 degrees now and then rise up again. Lift up through the fingers. Sink down through the hips. Open those arms out through wingspan. Hip hinge. Airplane arms. Let the hips keep hinging you as you reach out through the fingers and airplane arms. And then softly release the arms back down. Pick up the right heel, spin on the ball of the right foot, step back, split dog, or downward facing dog. Everybody meet together, downward facing dog. Next breath, we return to that sequence. The right leg begins to reach the split dog. We either go to tabletop, bring that right leg forward, or we go from split dog. Spin the left heel down. Reach the left arm forward. Prayerful state, thanking your body, noticing your positive intentions, letting go of your negative intentions, and peaceful warrior. Right arm lifts and reaches upwards. Left arm softly comes down behind. Flow back through warrior two. Transition into your side angle. Meditative state. Breathe into each challenging experience. Flow back through the warrior two and transition to warrior one. Left arm circles down, left heel picks up. Reach through the fingers, plant the left heel down. Rise up through the fingers, lift up through the eyes. Let the heart center stay lifting and shining upwards. And open those arms out through the wingspan. Come into the airplane arms. Pick up the left heel, spin on the ball, the left foot. Plant those hands back down, frame your right foot, and here we go back home. Downward facing dog. Or tabletop, or child's pose. 2 more breaths. And next breath, we're going to let those heels lift up, shift the body forward, transition to plank. One more beautiful, strong, energizing practice. Plank to downward facing dog. So again, the toes lift up, so the heels lift up a little higher. Reach your body back, downward dog. 2 more. Receiving breath. Heels rise up, body shifts forward, lower the hips so they're in line with the shoulders. Plank. And then you receive this next breath and you lift up the hips, come up to the tippy toes and reach back, downward dog. 1 more cycle. Breathe into your movements. Thank your body for the movements it can do today. Next breath, heels rise up together, knees soften together. Slowly bring the knees down. Easy does it. Tops of the feet back to the mat. Spinal wave. Yeah. Again, this beautiful practice of allowing the spine to flow and to connect with core. Come back into the neutral position when your practice is balanced both ways. Softly begin to transition to the supine pose. We begin to finish well here. As we review the yoga practice itself as a path for the closer awareness of the self within. When your body is on the mat, the full back body resting on your mat, begin to give yourself a whole body stretch. So begin to stretch out one leg, stretch out the other leg, and then reach the arms upwards and let the arms reach overhead, palms facing up, and then give your body a full, deep stretch. Maybe you make one little leg get a little longer than the other one, and you kind of extend into this full body stretch. Come back into the center, pause. Then softly let the arms circle out through the wingspan. Bring them back down by your sides, please. Palms down. Start to bend both knees. Place the soles of your feet onto the mat. Press into the soles of the feet. Hover the hips and then tuck the tailbone lightly. Lower the hips all the way back down. Give yourself a gentle hug. So you might pick up both feet and hug the thighs in towards the chest. You might favor the knees towards the armpits. Come back into the center if the knees are outwards. And then we're going to do another little hugging in, releasing out. So we're going to practice this with eagle legs. So with the feet lifted away from your mat, knees bent, stretch out the left leg straight up or out, whatever best, and then bend that left knee lightly and cross it on top of your right thigh this time. Shiva squat is behind, eagle legs are on top. And you might let that right foot just be free on the outer edge of your left foot. You might wrap it around the left leg, whatever works for you. Now with your arms, circle them down, lift them away from the mat, And then hold on to your legs, whether it's to the outer thighs, whether it's below the knees or the shin area. Keep the neck lengthened, so tuck the chin in lightly, shoulders relax. Receive a breath. Release the breath. Slowly start to hug the thighs in towards the chest. Maybe you lift up the head lightly here, tucking the chin. Maybe you don't. Maybe you keep the head resting on the mat. But when you receive your next breath, release the hug. So you release the thighs. If the head lifted, you release that down. 2 more. Big, deep receiving breath. Releasing breath. Start to hug the thighs in. If the head lifts slightly, you tuck the chin down, you bow it in, and you release. You open back up. 1 more, please. And when that practice is completed on that side, release your hands, your arms, reopen them to the wingspan, uncross your eagle leg here, bring both feet back down, receive a breath, press into the soles of the feet again, hover the hips, tuck the tailbone, lower the hips back down, prepare for the opposite side. So we pick up both feet together. Let the thighs naturally hug towards the chest on their own. Then cross the right thigh on top of the left thigh. Create your eagle legs. Remember, it's always what serves you best today, so you can stay closer to that self that lies within, your true nature. Then the arms circle down. We bring the hands to the legs, whether they're on the outer thighs, whether they're below the knee, wherever they are. We receive a breath. We release a breath. We start to hug the thighs in towards the chest. We might lift up the head as we tuck the chin and hug in. We might keep the head resting down onto our mat. But we start releasing the breath again, and we start releasing the hug. How about 2 more of these flows? Your yoga practice itself as a path to stay closer to that self that lies within. When your practice is completed, softly release the hands and arms. Reopen the arms out to the eagle's wingspan. Uncross the eagle legs. Bring both feet back down. Press in the soles of the feet. Hover the hips. Tuck the tailbone. And then very, very gently receive a breath. Acknowledge your prayerful state. Thanking your body. Noticing your positive intentions. Letting go of your negative intentions. The meditative state through your practices. You breathe into each challenging experience. And the yoga practice itself. With the very next breath, we're going to move into the eagle leg twist. Knees bent, feet flat on the mat, hip width apart, pick up that left leg, create the eagle leg, whatever's working best for you here. Press into the sole of the right foot, hover the right hip and scoot it over just a little bit to the left side. Arms will either be in your eagle's wingspan, reaching out wide, shoulder distance out, or elbows bend, sun god. Begin the journey with breath. The breath is received. The breath is released, and both knees start to release to the right. Keep breathing. You might pause as you receive a breath to notice where the body is, to notice that you're being true to yourself, or to make adjustments. You might keep the head in center. You might start turning the head over to the left. It's a journey. Stay present. And when your eagle leg twist is in its full expression, receive 2 more deep breaths. Where does the breath body move from within when you're in eagle leg twist? 2 breaths, we slowly come back to center. Hug the thighs together, a little bit tighter. Return back into center. Uncross the eagle leg. Place the left foot down, press into the soles of the feet. Hover the hips, tuck the tailbone, recenter the hips. Release the hips back down, receiving breath. We pick up the right foot now. We start to create the eagle leg, right thigh on top of the left thigh. Press into the sole of the left foot. Hover the left hip. Scoot it over just a little bit to the right side. Lower the left hip down. Recheck in. Arms are reaching out wide. Receive that next deep breath. Begin the journey with releasing breath. Knees releasing over to the left. I invite you to go slow and to breathe deep. Perhaps your head stays in neutral. Perhaps your head starts to turn to the right. Continue moving, continue breathing. Reflecting on your meditative state, your prayerful state, your yoga practice itself as a path for this closer awareness of the self that lies within. Take those 2 deep breaths when you're in the full expression. Where's the breath body move now? And we'll come back to center together. Kind of hug the thighs together a little bit. Help lift up the legs. Return to your center. Uncross your eagle legs. Press into the soles of both feet, please. Hover the hips. Recenter the hips. Tuck the tailbone. Lower the hips back down. Circle the arms down to your sides. And then again, both feet are lifted. And we hug the thighs in towards the chest or the knees towards the armpits. And then we roll from hip bone to hip bone. We massage through that lower back, across the sacrum. Return back into your center, please. Gentle pause. And then begin to elevate or lift both legs upwards. As always, with or without support. Gently walk or move over to an open wall if you'd like the wall to support your legs. Relax the shoulder blades. Release through the back of your tongue, throat. Softening around the temples of your eyes. 2 more breaths here. Softly and slowly begin to transition into Shavasana, or if it's your choice to keep the legs elevated, please do that. Traditional Shavasana, legs softly onto the mat, feet falling apart from each other. Arms are lightly away from the sides of our body. Palms are facing up. Shavasana is this place of completely letting go. Breathe. Body absorbs the benefits of your practice. Breath breathes itself. And we rest. Our Shavasana reading today is paraphrased from Mount Madonna Center. Yoga is union with the inner self. Presence, the divine, consciousness. Yoga is the practice for peace that brings peace itself. Closer awareness of the self that lies within. Gently draw your awareness to that place between your eyebrows, expanding that awareness into your space, and the wiggling through your toes, perhaps ankles, the wiggling through your fingers, maybe wrists. Gently placing our left palm at our heart center, right palm across our belly, nourishing our body with several deep, refreshing breaths. Invite your next breath to awaken you as you give your body an awakening stretch. From our awakening stretch, we bend our knees, turning all the way onto our right side. And gently begin to rise into your seated pose. In our easy seated poses, with our Anjali Mudra, we begin to bow forward, thanking our body for the movements it can do today, and thanking ourselves for showing up on our mat today. We begin to rise. And close together. Namaste. Thank you today for your practice. Thank you today for your presence. Please unmute yourselves and say goodbye to your fellow yogis.